In a wide land of red soil, thorny bushes, and singing winds, there lived a man named Aman. He was known throughout many villages for his kindness. Even strangers spoke well of him, for Aman never turned away a person in need. One quiet afternoon, as the sun burned like fire over the horizon, Aman sat outside his hut carving a wooden spoon. Children played nearby, women pounded millet, and elders told stories under the shade of an old baobab tree. But suddenly the peaceful day changed. Two travelers arrived from a distant region. Their clothes were covered in dust, and their faces looked heavy with worry. The elders invited them to sit and drink water, but the travelers shook their heads. "We bring sad news," one of them said. "There is a woman far from here. She has been sick, terribly sick, for 5 days. She lies in a lonely hut with no care, no food, no help." The villagers fell silent. Aman felt a coldness crawl up his spine. The second traveler added, "People whisper that she has died. Some say she was left to suffer alone." The words struck Aman like a spear. A woman suffering for 5 days and no one helping her? His heart trembled. That night, the village fire glowed like a small sun. People gathered around it, talking in low voices about the unknown woman. "She is from far lands," the elders said. "No family here, no friends. Maybe that is why no one cared." But Aman could not sit still. The idea of someone dying alone, with no hand to hold and no voice to comfort, filled him with deep fear and sadness. As he lay on his mat, he stared at the roof and whispered, "Could I have helped her? Why did no one help her? Why must suffering fall on the shoulders of the forgotten?" He didn't sleep at all. At sunrise, Aman packed water, dried meat, and a small gourd of herbs. He tied his sandals and stood outside his hut. His shadow stretched long on the ground as he made his decision. "I must go," he said to the elders. "I must know the truth. If she is alive, she needs help. If she is gone, she deserves respect. No one should die alone." The elders exchanged looks. Some feared the journey. The far region was known for its wild animals and unpredictable weather. But Elder Juma, the oldest man in the village, placed a hand on Aman's shoulder. "Go with courage," he said. "The ancestors walk with those whose hearts are pure." And so Aman began his long journey. The path was not easy. He traveled through thorny bushes that scratched his legs. He crossed dry rivers where crocodiles slept in the shade. He climbed rocky hills where the wind howled like spirits. At night, he slept under the stars, listening to the drums of distant villages. On the third night, he met a group of nomads. They shared their fire with him and asked about his journey. "I seek the woman who was left sick for 5 days," Aman told them. The nomads nodded slowly. "We heard of her," their leader said. "They say she was found barely breathing. Some say she passed away. Others say a healer took her away in the night." Aman's heart pounded. Hope, fear, confusion. He thanked them and continued. On the 5th day of his journey, Aman finally reached the far region. There, on the edge of a dry field, stood a lonely hut made of mud and straw. The door hung open like a mouth stuck in a silent scream. Aman stepped inside. The air was stale. The bed was messy. A broken pot lay in the corner. This was where the woman had suffered. He knelt down and closed his eyes. "I am sorry," he whispered. "Sorry that the world forgot you." Just then he heard footsteps outside. His heart jumped. Was it danger? A woman stepped into the doorway. She was old, but her eyes were sharp. "You seek the sick woman," she said quietly. Aman stood up. "Yes. Tell me, is she alive?" The old woman nodded slowly. "She is alive, but only because the night healer took her away. She was too weak to speak, too weak to move, but she fought to survive." Aman felt his knees grow weak with relief. "This is good news," he said. "Where is the healer?" The old woman pointed to a path that led deeper into the forest. "She rests there. But listen, young man, not many travel that road, only those with courage or great purpose." Aman looked at the path, dark, twisting, silent. "I have a purpose," he said. When Aman reached the healer's hut, a warm smell of herbs filled the air. Inside, a woman lay on a mat wrapped in blankets. Her breathing was slow but steady. The healer looked at Aman. "You came far," he said. "I came because she deserved care. No person should suffer alone." The healer nodded with respect. "She heard you," he said. "Even when she was weak, she heard your prayers from afar." The sick woman opened her eyes slightly. She looked at Aman with gratitude, though she had never seen him before. A single tear slid down her cheek. Aman sat beside her and squeezed her hand. "You are not alone anymore." Aman stayed for many days until the woman regained her strength. He brought her water, cooked for her, and kept the fire warm at night. When she could finally speak, she whispered, "You saved me." Aman shook his head gently. "No, the healer saved you. I only followed my heart." She smiled weakly. "Then you have a good heart." And so the story of Aman spread across many villages. Parents told their children, "When you hear of suffering, do not turn away. Be like Aman. Walk the long road, even when it is hard." And from that day on, no stranger in that land was ever left alone again.